Hey, and we're back to the Ramnani podcast. Welcome to the next episode. I think this is episode 4. And
Yes.
we welcome Ashish Gyan, our permanent co-host.
Thank you, and a very
Yeah.
warm welcome to Vivek from Nane.
Thank you. So how's it going, Ashish? What's up? What's going on in life in general?
It's November, it's winter is setting in slightly, but yeah, so that's pretty much the zone right now. Planning of hibernations and stuff. How's winter there in Germany?
You know, there's a term in Hindi, and I am going to use it because it requires the effect that word creates. So, can you ask me the question again?
How's the winter there in Germany?
Gan Padu. That would be the
Nice.
right word to use given the fact that it can get so cold. And it's not even about the cold. It's about the wind. It snowed day before at night. So it snowed, but it didn't stick to the ground. It was still too warm for the snow to stick to the ground. So
Nice. So
you are,
since the last time we spoke, what's been up? Something new has happened.
yes.
Care to give the listeners a peekaboo?
Of course. So, since the last time, I have become a father. Yes, my first child. So,
New daddy in
that's
the
good.
house. Dude,
New
I
what in
thought
the house?
new daddy in the house.
Yes, new daddy in the house for sure. So that has happened. It's been quite
Congratulations.
and thank you. And I find that very interesting. So the journey has been quite interesting, to be honest.
I hope the mother and the child are doing well and fine, and you're being a good father and husband.
I change on an average 70% of the diapers, so I think I'm doing fine.
Interesting. Picking up the grunt work, I see. Good stuff. So I think
Yeah.
the natural flow of conversation for today would be daddy issues.
Why not? Let's bring it out. Let's bring out a conversation that seems to be very, how do you say? It's always pushed under the carpet. So let's bring it out. Let us be the generation which pulls up the carpet and pulls out the conversation.
Nuts. Fair enough.
So
dads, fathers.
yes. So already becoming a little weird, right? I mean, you're like, yar, how do we do this? How do we do this? It is a personal topic for all of us.
Yeah, I think dads are they're a very interesting relationship dynamic. Um so I'll ask you this: what does being a dad now mean to you?
It opens up a whole different perspective. Like, you know, when I try to wonder how my father thinks, right? And how it is and what it feels like to be a father. I think that question got answered. It's added a whole different perspective on what,
Have you found appreciation for your own father?
yes and no. Yeah, I would say that yes and no. I wouldn't say appreciation, but I would say not even a yes and no. I would say not. I think a perspective.
Yeah,
A perspective that would be
a deeper perspective, I guess.
yeah. It's a perspective. So
Because dads always say this, right? कि जब तुम बाप बनोगे तब तुमको समझ में आएगा टाइप्स. तो अभी हम लोग दोनों में तुम ही बाप बने हो तो तुम्ही को कुछ समझ में आया है तो बताओ.
yeah. No, one of the things I realized is that this very, very absurd natural connection, not even absurd, but the whole idea of in such a pragmatic world, something that is so magical in a certain sense, it kind of gets to you, right? Like, for example, all of a sudden you start feeling all sorts of things. You're more sensitive, which was very interesting. I've never felt like this level of sensitivity. When my boy was born, it was crazy. I felt joy like I have not felt in a very long time. When I heard him
Interesting.
the first time, I,
Like,
I, it was like joy was hidden at the back of my head for all these 15, 20 years. It's been like here. All of a
right,
sudden came to the forefront and boom, it was like, wow, this is
right.
amazing. And I didn't realize that I could actually be truly happy, which was very interesting. Like in my own life, I mean, I tell you these things that have changed. I've stopped
Mm.
using sleep medication. It's been about 2 months.
Uh,
Overall, I've been active, a lot active.
mm.
There's a lot, like, for example, if I go to work, which I still go to work almost every day. But when I go to work, what seems to be interesting is that for about beyond 2 hours, I start thinking about him,
Mm.
which is very interesting. Like, you
That-
don't think like it's a very natural response. Like I start thinking about him and I start like, okay,
So
I
have
need to.
other things fallen off the radar and the child has taken center stage, or radar as
Uh,
in other things as in the other noise and the crowd noise and stuff like that? Has it been replaced by the baby thoughts? And what do you think? I mean, what do you like? What is he doing? Acha, ऐसे, acha, he did this or that, or what is the thought? Or ऐसा करेंगे? Is it a lot of reminiscing, a lot of planning, a lot of nostalgia for it's 2 months, but still, just I'm sure that there's a lot of nostalgia on a daily basis because new experiences are happening every day to you. So a new burp here, a new fart there.
I think I'm more motivated to do
Hmm.
a lot of things for
Mm.
it sounds strange, but I'm more motivated to do things for myself in a way so that I can always be, when he's ready, I'm ready to be his inspiration, be his go-to. It's like I am really I'm doing things for myself. I'm living
Mm.
my dream so I can inspire him in certain sense.
Okay.
It sounds very selfish, but it starts to become like, uh,
So
uh,
I guess it's not selfish, but it's more about investing in your own self and your own experiences so you
yeah,
can be a better role model to your child.
yeah. So and I also want to be ready whatever he wants to do in life, wherever he wants to go. He should never feel a need to, uh, need to go outside to get advice or to talk to somebody or to, he should be comfortable enough at any age as he grows because first he'll be like 8, 9 years old and then 10 and then 15 is when all the hormones kick in. I want to be at every stage as flexible as I can be, you know. And I am trying very hard to not assign a personality to him. Let him develop his personality the way he wants to. Let him form his core elements. He's very small now, but you can
Yeah.
start seeing small, things about him that yeah, you understand. He's very calm, very collected in a certain sense. He cries when he needs food, but after he gets his food, he's happy. He's like a saint. So it's good to see that, right? And I am also trying to understand what makes him uncomfortable because he cannot speak, he cannot say anything. So my senses in terms of understanding what he wants, what he requires, how he wants it, all of these things, they are getting sharper and sharper. So just overall sensitivity that has definitely not only sharpened, but yeah, overall, well then, there's a new reason to live life, a very strong reason to live life. So
Nice. Do you have
yeah,
a interesting childhood memory of your own father and son child moment?
uh, yeah, that
Any ang-
we did not have that kind of relationship. He was father son thing is a very rare thing for me and my
Hmm.
father. So I think one of the most
Is
profound
that something
memories.
that you want to redo, maybe redo differently with your own child? Is that also something that is guiding you? Because yeah,
Yeah,
like there
sure.
are people out there who've had tough dads and tough. Most Indians have tough dad, son, the dad son relationships are very complicated. So
Yeah,
there's
but
a lot of.
I want to. I think the most important aspect of I'm hoping to achieve is a balance in our relationship, mine and my sons. Not too much, not too less. Jada, Jada. I don't want to push him too hard, nor I want to push him too. I don't. I want to encourage him too less. It's like a balance. Try and understand if he just wants to talk, if he wants to do something. I want to understand what he's going through. What is his social stigmas? What is his social, peer pressure? A lot of these things I'm trying to hopefully be that sort of a person who can find balance between our relationship. Okay, there is going to be arguments, there are going to be fights, but I still want to be the father, uh,
What are you going to
uh,
be strict
more than
about?
the friend, huh?
What are you going to be strict about?
Strict about is
Non-negotiables.
learning. Very important. Anything you choose a game, you choose a book, you choose anything you want to keep learning. That is very important. Whatever, it doesn't matter if you whatever you want to do, but keep learning, keep understanding, keep growing. You're not allowed to not grow. You're not allowed to sit back and say, "Yeah, it's okay." No, keep
Mm.
growing as a person. That's more important. I mean, of course, and more strictly, I mean, as he grows, we see how the world turns. What is okay and what is not. I think
Mm.
most importantly is if he ever asks me questions on stuff like alcohol, drugs, or tattoos or whatever, I think it's most importantly is to make him understand why one should not partake, right? But even if they do, it has to be
Mm.
at the fact that you're fully informed and at the end of it, there is a certain responsibility that falls on your shoulder. So, and also give experiences of my life to him and explain to him, this is how I did it. Now,
Mm.
I cannot say how it's going to affect you, but if you want to find out more, then you should ask people their experiences, right?
Mm.
So, I think it's more important for me is to make him understand rather than put some sort of hold on him. कि नहीं, तुम ऐसे नहीं कर सकते हो. At least that's what I hope to do.
Mm.
Because at some point we have to realize that there is going to be a lot of smokers. There are going to be people who drink, all of that stuff. Abhi,
Mm.
मेरे घर में तो था, you shouldn't smoke, but you shouldn't drink. I ended up doing both, right?
Mm.
And nobody sat and explained it to me why I shouldn't smoke. Oh, तुम मर जाओगे. It was like the one thing. Oh, you're going to die. You're going to get cancer and you're just going to die. Arey bhai, hold on. What?
Right.
Why hasn't someone sat down and explained everything? But
Mm.
that was like the thing, right? I mean, that is what I don't want to bring into my relationship. I want to be able to have a conversation, want to be able to show him, okay, this can happen, that can happen, this is also possible.
Mm.
More or less, be the educator, I would say. Be the educator when I can be. So, and then he is allowed to make decisions whenever he
Mm.
is confident enough to do so. Yeah, at some point, there will, as I said, everything's a balance, right? If he's going to fall into a crater, I'm not going to let him fall into a crater. I'm going to
Mm.
stand in the way. But yes, sometimes if he can handle himself, then I will let him do as he has to, as he will. But mostly, I want to be able to explain things to him. If he can sit and explain stuff to him, make him understand, that's more important. But that is what my hope is. So
Mm.
for one, I don't want to just say something to somebody, him and just say, "Ha, ऐसे मत करो, ऐसे नहीं करो, ऐसे नहीं, गंदा होता है, ऐसा नहीं, not like that." There has to explain the reason behind why things are bad for you or why things are not, and proper examples and so on and so forth. And then also on
Good.
top of that, I also have to take into consideration his social friends, right? I cannot just say, हाँ, जाके make some new friends. That's so
Mm.
easy to do. हाँ, जाके नए दोस्त बना लो. अरे नए दोस्त क्या मेरे को फ्लिपकार्ट पे मिलेंगे क्या? ऐसे थोड़ी होगा. So I think that is something that would require sensitivity, a very high level of sensitivity. So
Interesting.
Yeah. What about
Uh,
you, Ashish? What about you? I know you're not a father, but how was it with you and your dad? One memory that you have that you probably go back to when you feel a sense of joy that you want to go back to, like with your, what is that one memory?
Dude, my dad was very chill. It's never been extremes of, he was never an extreme expressive person, but he was very, very chill throughout. And he's always been, he was always, ki, "Acha, haan," he's always provided me whatever I needed and wanted and stuff like that. So I've had, that way I've been very blessed in the sense that I've had a very, my parents were very chill that ways. And he's never, he's never raised his hand on either of us, on either of my sister or me, or even shouted at me. And but so in that ways it was very nice. But I think the fondest memory that I would want, that I have, and that really helped me also in a way through my life and still helps me, is that I used to participate in all these debates and elocution and stuff. And uh, although dad was an engineer, but he also had a bent towards writing poetry and stuff. So he used to write a lot of, like, he used to write all my debate pieces, and I used to give him topics, and he used to write like 3-4 page ka full write up after 2 days with facts and good language and stuff like that. And that helped me win a lot of those debates in school. Uh, and that also gave me a lot of like perspective in writing differently or thinking differently, because he used to write a very different, he was not a very like newspaper se chhap ke kar liya, ya he used to do it in his own language. So whereas other pieces came out very copy cut copy paste kind of sourced from the same material kind of thing, mine got slightly higher graded because it was a different language or more original language. So that kind of also helped me learn to craft things in a more different language and stuff. So I think, yeah, and that helped me then. It gave me cred in school, in extracurriculars, and it's lasted. So I think it was really nice. I think that would be the one thing that comes to me from my childhood. I've given him a lot of trouble and stuff like that also. Like I've not been mischievous, but I've done stupid shit and stuff like that. But he's always had my back, and he's never told me anything like he's always like "Ki kar raha hai, kar raha hai." So that way my dad's been very, very I was blessed to have him. So yeah.
Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. That's a very well, I was thinking, yeah, it's just not my case.
Yeah, I mean, different things, different context. But yeah, when adulting happened and all of that happened, one of the major points of discussion and conversation, and probably points of disagreement, was how, not the point that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but how I was thinking about it. Maybe he wanted to think about it in a maybe a more local, a more smaller scale kind of setup, a more risk free, risk averse kind of situation. Whereas I was probably looking at a larger scale. So I think that was more of the discussion when adulting happened in the later stages of our relationship. But yeah,
Hmm.
even then he was not like, "Nah, you can't do it" and stuff like that. He was like, "Oh."
Interesting. So he wrote all your debates. Huh, interesting. Very nice. So that's where the hold of English comes from. I mean, with you at least.
Yeah, English. So he used to write both English and the Hindi debates for me. So both, it was really, really nice. Yeah. And due to his job, we had enough access growing up to, even in a town like Jamshedpur in the 90s, early 2000s and stuff. We had a full-fledged access to like extracurricular access outside school to uh, swimming pool, tennis, courts, coaches, libraries. So that was also an advantage. I never felt, coming to a bigger city, never felt underskilled or suddenly lost. कि अच्छा यार इसको Like, I've been so that also was kind of the mahal. So I was really nice. Like, acha haan, jab Sherpur mein hai, like this is quite nice. So
Hmm.
he
Yeah,
kind
so
of
it was.
provided that. Yeah.
There was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of. There was a very strong base that was provided.
Yeah, he was also like, he pushed me to go to the tennis coaching when I started seventh and eighth, and my marks, matlab, I went from top three to the top five, kind of top five, top 10 kind of situation post seventh, eighth. I was more involved in the extracurriculars, but he was always chill. "Haan, theek hai." He's put me in tennis coaching for 2, 3 years. He like go types, and so all of that was provided by him. So I was like, yeah, cool, good.
I had this very interesting uh, moment with me and my father. He came for my parent teacher meeting, which was the most. It was. I think it was crazy. So he came to school and he started to meet all my teachers. And I was like a very happy with 60-70%. I never cared for 100%.
Hmm.
वो घंटा फर्क पड़ता था उस time. I was like, I get 60-70%. I pass. I'm happy. I don't care. You know how learning was. How we learned in school was, I would say, was the worst way of learning. But yeah, whatever.
Hmm.
He started meeting all the teachers and everybody, and all the teachers said to him, "Yeah, he needs to work hard. He only gets 60% and 70%."
Hmm.
And my biology teacher, he was like, he gets 60%, but he celebrates as if he's come first in class. He's like that. He's very happy with what he gets, and but he somehow doesn't want to get more.
Hmm.
And my dad's like, okay. And then, but one thing all my teachers said was behaviorally, he is one of the best students in class. Really
Uh,
nice chap. He's a really nice guy. That's what all my teachers told him. As a person, he's a really nice person. And that put my dad in a bit of a conundrum because as he walked out of school, he's like, I don't know what to tell you. On one hand, your behavior is very good in school. On
hmm.
the other hand, you're happy with only 60%. Like your teachers are very happy with you, but they're still unhappy with you. And it sort of put me in a conundrum. What should I tell you if
Hmm.
your behavior is so good? So it was always like that with him. So he was very, what is it called that? What's that word called? Flummoxed? Flummoxed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As to how to handle it,
Yeah, he didn't know.
plot it.
Yeah. So I think that is what once confused him quite a bit. Like, what should I tell you? Like, क्या बोलूं तुझे? तू यार अलग किस्म का इंसान है. हाँ. So, yeah, that was something that I think was a very interesting incident happened with me and my teachers and my father. So,
Hmm. Nice.
I think
What were
there
your
was
biggest?
once. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, बोल.
And I think one other incident that happened with my father was he was always saying, you're a saint. वो
Hmm.
I'll say it in Hindi, तू संत है, तेरा क्या होगा इस दुनिया में,
Uh,
And the first thing that came to my mind, I told him, मगर संत के ऊपर तो भगवान का हाथ होता है, right? And I remember he looked at me for a second and he said, yeah, I have no comeback to that. This is an argument that I've lost. You cannot get better than this. I said, okay. So these are the moments where I think I remember very clearly that I've always put my father in a very flummox sort of situation. I was never mischievous. I never created issues, but I always put him in a situation where he's like, "Karu to kya karu?" Because I think he's always been wary of me. That yeah, Vivek, यार, ये उल्टा भी नहीं करता, सीधा भी नहीं करता, सब कुछ बीच में जाम कर. So it was not the same with my sister. My sister was expected to perform. She performed, matlab, she has to perform. If I got 80%, my father's like, if he could get 80%, for him, it's like, if he could get 80%, why is he getting only 60% all these years, right? So, and he cannot tell me anything because 80% is pretty good. I mean, how can he shout at me for getting 80%? So it was I always kept him in a very difficult situation.
Got away again.
And yeah, this is something he always told me. He always said to me, you're a guy who always figures a way out, whatever said and done. कुछ भी होगा, कैसे भी होगा, you'll figure a way out and you'll go. You're very good at that. So
I mean, that's an instinct that you're born with, I guess.
maybe I don't know how it, but he always told me that. He said two things. One, you will always figure out a way to get out of a situation. You'll always find a way to solve it. Two, you have very good presence of mind. He said your presence of mind is superb. So, I mean, this was what he told me, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know how good it is today, but yeah. So that's how, at least, it was. What were you so going to ask me?
No, that was an unrelated point. Like, that was the thing I'm saying. Ki, I wanted to change to the topic of asking what were your biggest fears of becoming a father?
Biggest fears of becoming a father. Was I ready, actually? I think that is what always caught me off guard. Was I ready to be a father? Because
Did you want to be a father? Like people want to be like parents growing up or adulting or in your
passively, yes. Passively, yes. Not actively, no. Passively, always, one day I'll have a kid, for sure. But actively was not was I pushing to have a kid? No. If it happens within a marriage, that's fine. But I was very passive about it because I always thought about it, I was like, when I think about myself, I still think I'm a kid. I'm still not adulting. So that is what caught me always before when I was thinking about it, कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, I don't know. That was the one thought that always caught me by surprise. कि अरे अभी I think before he came into this world, I remember when I was in bed, the thoughts that came into my mind were quite scary actually, and it kept me up all night. कि how am I going to handle this? How am I going to do this? कैसे करना है? कैसे क्या करना है? And just thinking कि, the first thing that came to my mind, I'm going to say this in Hindi because it is, कि तू हैंचो बाप बनने वाला है, हैंचो चुतिया है क्या? It's like those thoughts came into my mind, and they're like, whoa. And it's sudden realization of this can
And did
really
you connect with anybody during that time? Father,
Oh,
mother, peer?
good. I'm so happy you asked this question. One of the first things I'm going to tell all my friends, I'm going to tell all of them, Pancho, when you're having a kid, no, don't give me the negatives. कि तुम्हारा जिंदगी झंड होने वाला है. I am fucking tired of that. Don't give me this झंड, Pancho, कि अरे तुम्हारा जिंदगी एकदम झंड होने वाला है. ऐसे, अरे भाई, there must be some positives to being a father. Why are we getting into the negatives of things, right?
So
I think that was something I was so fucking angry about. I was so pissed about. It cannot be all, life will change. Absolutely. When you take responsibility, any sort of responsibility, if it's a small responsibility, the change is very small. If it's a big responsibility, the change is very big. Fact. Right? Are there going to be troubles? Yes. We are raising a kid. No, I'm not selling Bhelpuri, right? It's raising a kid. So don't give me this. I don't want to hear it. Because when you decided to have kids,
so what was the negative?
You should have thought about it. Huh?
What were the negatives thrown at you? Some phrases that you thought.
Yeah, like sleep, try and sleep as much as you can now. You'll not be able to sleep later. Life is going to change. ऐसा हो जाएगा, वैसा हो जाएगा. पैच बंद करो. Stop it. Give me something positive. Don't give me this jargon that, well, all of these things I already know. Because you think about it, right? Life is going to change. Yes, sleep is going to be tricky, but it'll be fine. I had to push them. Arey, boss, tell me something positive. Don't give me this negative. And it's just not one person I'm talking about. I'm talking about a whole bunch of them. I had to push them. Bhai, tell me something positive about having kids. Don't give me negatives.
Is that something sorry, I'm like, but I've been pondering about this as a question. That I've seen a lot of conversation in family, uh, adult, मतलब P generation above, taking it very casually to just roast each other, right? Or just count out the negativities or make fun of marriage. Like, you've heard चाचा चाची मौसा मौसी सब साथ में बैठे हुए हैं तो शादी का मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं या वो बीवी पे जोक्स एंड वेरी कॉमन इन द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप सो इज इट एंड सिमिलरली फॉर आर एज ग्रुप फॉर गेटिंग मतलब एक तो मैरिज में घुसना इज ऑल्सो लाइक एक मेंटल हो जाता है कि लाइफ एज यू सेड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है लाइफ बदलने वाली है लेकिन झंड होने वाली है people go to
That's
that
what,
negative.
yeah, that is
Even for
something.
parenthood, I think it's the same societal thing कि बच्चा हो गया है तो अब हम वो नहीं कर सकते जो पहले कर सकते थे अब एक्स्ट्रा हो गया है तो लाइफ तो झंडी हो गई है तो इट्स अ नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट कि एक तो सोसाइटल है या तो जितना लोग जितना है नहीं उतना लोग बढ़ा चढ़ा के दे
No,
ट्राई टू
no, I'm sorry, but I have to be more, I have to be a little bit more raw here. But I'm like, Bhanchot, what the fuck were you thinking? I mean, come on. This is getting married, all of these things. I'm so sorry this has to come out in the podcast, but it's such, man, when you get married, it's a responsibility. How it will go, where it will go, you don't. That's why it's called a leap of faith, right? How it ends up going, you don't know. Yes, life is going to change. But if you don't want to get married, don't get married. Simple. That's one. मगर you know what? एक पॉजिटिव बताऊं मैरिज का जब फटता है तो साथ में किसी और के साथ में फटता है ठीक है at least you have somebody on the boat of life, which is nice, which is really nice. And over
There was
time,
this, as a side note, there was this research that's been floating around. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's this research that the happiest people seem to be married men and single women. In statistically, if you see that the two cohorts that are the most happiest are married men. So married men usually are happier and single women are happier. So this is
maybe
kind of,
maybe it is true, maybe it is, but as
but
I
yeah,
said, you know, if you
सास
want
में
to go
फटने में ज्यादा, yeah.
if you want to go deeper into it, yeah, maybe that what the statistics say, yes, for sure, because the problem happens, at least what I can see is that single women keep pursuing their ambition, right? They have no kids, so there's typically like men in general, right?
Hmm.
They
They're
don't have.
living absolute freedom
Yeah,
kind of.
they're living the man's life. Let's just put it that way, because the man cannot produce a kid. Man does not have that responsibility. Man
Yeah.
does not provide for the kid through
Hmm.
breast milk and all of that, and
Hmm.
it does not bond with the kid like the mother and the child. So uh, so single women, when they don't have kids, if they want to be on their own, they are as ambitious as men. They set
Hmm.
the standard, they set the threshold. So for sure, when married women look at single women, they also say, "Oh, these guys are so ambitious. They become so much. They've done."
Hmm.
But it has come at a price, right? Now, married men, for that matter, for us, life does not physically change in a sense
Hmm.
that we don't go through such physical changes. Our hormones are not as messed up as,
Apparent.
huh?
They're not as apparent as.
Right. And we basically go into this mode where we are being pushed to do more because we want to be able to provide for the kid. So some people call it ambition, some people call it, but yes, you want to provide a lot for your kid. You want to be there for your kid. So automatically your brain is tuned to doing more. Your ambition grows.
Hmm.
Your fire expands because now there's a reason why you want to do it.
Hmm.
So you want to be able to provide. So that's what happens for sure. And when you start getting ambitious, then there is a gap between the mother who feels that she is responsible for a part of the family where, it's not ambitious, you see.
Hmm.
So it's sad, but it is not true. It doesn't have to be true. So,
Yeah,
but
but
like
so
how
your experience with support during parenthood, like your fears, did you get the right support? Did you have to search for too much, or was that a lack from male for fathers basically, or to be fathers? Is there a proper, in the age of excess, is there support for male fathers and equal?
I think there is a lot out there, but how to siphon what you need is your own.
If you read any books,
I did have an audiobook about babies and stuff, but I did when before pregnancy, pre-pregnancy, and whatnot, and stuff like that. But I really didn't. I tuned into my instincts mostly. And when to answer your question, is there support?
within the family, peer group, and in general outside professional help, and is it needed?
Yes, it is needed. It to answer questions instead of saying you have to do everything. It has to answer questions that are tailored to your life rather than a broad stroke. You know,
Is there a startup idea there?
to have a conversation with fathers.
Um,
Yeah, it's a psychologist, right? But
but
it's
offering
like
support to fathers during, before, matlab, pre-pregnancy, post-birth. Uh,
it all depends upon your relationship with your wife, man, or your partner in this case, or whatever your. It all depends upon what the chemistry is and what sort of a person you are. It all comes down to that. What I see a lot of men are either too flexible or too rigid. You have to figure out what the balance is.
what do you mean when you say flexible, and what do you mean when you say rigid? Can you give one example each?
When it's like, when the responsibility is not fairly divided between the parents, and the father is made to do a lot more because, well, there is this idea of making him feel that, oh yeah, he gets the long end of the stick, and the woman or the partner gets the short end of the stick.
Okay.
Because, oh yeah, they have to produce a baby, they have to do this, and it is so much for them. The father is sitting and doing nothing. So in order to compensate that, they overdo themselves. So
Okay. Okay. Sorry, because you just said right now about doing too much. So I would just want to have like a quick tips section where advice to dads to what to do during the 9 months of pregnancy to support your partner, to be a better partner, I guess. Like your top three to max to kill it as a partner that really helped you, or that you did, or that was appreciated by your spouse, and uh, or you felt that worked for both of you, just not for the partner, or just not for you.
to be calm, number one, always be calm. And whatever the situation, I'll give you some examples. If your partner is being difficult because her hormones are going haywire, realize that her hormones are going haywire. Don't react. Let it pass and it'll be fine. That's number one. Be calm. She's going through a lot. Understand that. And sometimes she can get overboard because she kind of doesn't see any response. That is when you put your foot down and say, okay, enough. So these are things that you need to figure out. Be calm. Very important. It's like you are as calm as a stick in the ground versus where she is like a cloud, which is always changing. And you imagine that picture in your head. You're a stick in the ground and she's a cloud right beside you. So it's a lot like that.
Okay.
That's one way of be calm. Number two, feed her. She's going to be sick. She's going to have a lot of sickness, but make sure that she's fed properly. She's taken care of. She's taken out for a walk. Push her to be a little bit active. There are days when she will not feel it, but push her. Don't make it crazy, but push her in the sense that if she needs to go for a walk and she doesn't feel it, take her, go for a walk. It'll be fine. Support her that way. And thirdly, try and keep it as normal as possible. The more normal things are at home, the better it is. Don't get overly obsessive about it. Oh, she's pregnant. No, keep it calm. The more normal it is at home, the more she has something to hold on to as unchanging. That is important. So that is something that you always be calm.
Feed her and be normal.
And be normal, as normal as possible. Because for her, you have to understand change. The change is very significant and very big. So for her to feel normalcy is very important. So try and keep things normal. Go for movies, go for dinners, have takeout. And what do you do regularly? Yeah, there are some things you cannot do, for example, physically.
What do you do for your own peace of mind, mental health during these times? What are like the top 3 that you would suggest men to take care of themselves during this time?
Just keep yourself
The
going.
same.
Same. Don't
Be
change.
calm.
Exactly. And when you have time for yourself, enjoy it. Do your stuff. Do your thing, Yes, you cannot be out the whole night when your wife is pregnant, but you should be home. Like for me, at least, when my wife was pregnant, I went out to do my improv and whatnot. So earlier when she was not pregnant, I would come home at 4, 5 in the morning and go improv, then go for beers with friends and all of that stuff. But when she got pregnant, I came home by 1:30, Sometimes I would come home by 12 or even 11, Improv would get over at 10. I'd have a drink and come back home. So it depends how it is. But be sensitive to your partners,
Right.
So mostly it is about you being at home when she's sleeping. So I didn't have to constantly be with her, but when she sleeps, she knows, okay, I'm at home. I could be awake till 4 in the morning also, it doesn't matter. But the idea of someone being at home is very important. So, sure.
How have you been balancing your professional and personal life? How do you see it changing after becoming a parent?
That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question. How am I managing professional and well, I mean,
how do you see it change or change apart from you thinking about your kid every 2 hours?
One of the profound effects that have happened in my professional life is that I'm not as worried anymore. The outcomes, we're trying so hard to make sure the outcomes are perfect. That has sort of fallen away. I don't know if it's the kid or it's just me, but it doesn't feel, a lot of things don't feel as tough as it used to be, It's the mind is more calmer in that sense, The idea that, okay, we try our best, we do our best, and then we see what happens.
Have you become more detached to the results?
Yeah. More like jo hoga dekhi jayegi, We see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. We do our best. So that way, a lot of things changed in me.
In the professional space.
Yeah, in my professional space, I'm less worried about the results.
Interesting.
Maybe you should also get married and have a kid.
Yeah. Start the age-old trend.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's what's happened with me. Is I'm less worried about the results. I'm like, I cannot burn my brain cells for this. It's like that.
Left it all up to the universe. No.
Yeah. But I think that pretty much captures, man, the fatherhood thing. Is there anything else that we could discuss?
There's a small rapid fire game that I would like to play with you.
Let's do that. Let's do the rapid fire.
So quick, 2 choices, this or that, basically. Right. So we'll begin. There are 10 questions and it'll take you probably from we'll see where you land on the fatherhood scale. I'll give you a Sigmund Fraud wala rating.
So,
But yeah, are you ready to go, Mr. Ramani?
let's go, Mr. Gyan.
Let's begin. So this and that, quick choices. First one, diapers or wipe,
Diapers.
bedtime stories or morning cartoons,
More bedtime stories.
play dates or solo time,
Playdates.
sports games or art projects.
I would love to choose both, but sports.
What would you choose as a kid?
Sports. Sports.
Hmm. Cooking dinner or ordering takeout?
Cooking dinner.
You're a good cook, so yeah, makes sense. Family road trips or staycations?
Family road trips any day.
Nice. Where's the first place that you would like to take your kid to? Apart
Planning to go to
from
Norway.
first trip to Norway, Northern
First trip
Lights.
to Norway. Norway. So if you see Northern Lights, yeah.
Yeah, Norway में दिखता है ना शायद.
Yeah, but it all depends on the season, right? So it depends on the season we go and all of that.
Nice, nice, nice. We'll keep you updated on the vlog.
Thank you, thank you.
That's staycation. But yeah, so next coming up, video games or board games?
Board games and then video game.
What is your favorite board game? Were you a board game person, video game person?
The game of life I really liked.
Hmm.
I liked Monopoly also. Snakes and ladders.
So Game of Life was the first, at least for me, it was the first 3D board game. Yeah, it had all the like inundations and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The rest of them were flat boards till then, except chess, maybe. But on the other board games, Monopoly and Scrabble and everything. But this one had like proper like bridge and hill and types stuff like
Yeah,
that. So that
yeah.
and it had the first spinning wheel on this one. Others were
Yeah, I had
dice based.
exactly. So it was very interesting, the game of life. I really liked it.
Life. Nice. Which video game or board game that you would want to play with your kid?
Video game.
Or board game that you would like to introduce to your kid? Or be like, this is our time, or this is our kid's son, father son time.
I don't know. Ludo, maybe. I don't know.
Snakes and
Ludo.
ladders.
Snakes and
आओ
ladders, Ludo.
काटते हैं तुम्हारा जैसे जिंदगी काटेगी पहले बाप से कटवाओ पहले यहाँ भी दिखाते हैं तुमको जाके 99 पे जाके 4 बार बाज काट लेना
और बड़ा उसने मेरा ही काट दिया और वो बोलता डैडी आपका काट दिया
game of life. That is the game
Yeah.
of life.
Yeah.
Nice. Next option is to write. Okay. Teaching how to ride a bike or swim. Bike as in bicycle. Again, don't say both, which is what also.
Yeah, teaching him how to ride a bike.
Okay. Singing lullabies or telling jokes, specifically dad jokes. Have you been prepping on your dad jokes, right?
Singing lullabies.
Oh, damn. Okay. No dad jokes for us right now. Okay, fine. I'll do as I'm declaring that I'm the official godfather, so I'll be the dad jokes person.
Enjoy. Knock yourself out.
Nice, nice. Interesting. And finally, what kind of father do you aspire to be?
अभी इतना तो बताया. What kind of father I aspire to be?
Don't give me explanation. Give me words, adjectives.
A balanced father. Everything is a balance. That means not too bad, not too good, fair, sometimes a little unfair, so that he knows that, life can be unfair.
Yeah. That's important.
So I want him to go through the tough phases of life, but know that I'm standing right beside him. Matlab, he has to walk it. He has to face it, but I'm always there. So at least as long as I live. And yeah, uh,
Balanced fatherhood.
a balanced fatherhood. Yeah,
Nice.
that's what
Yeah.
I think. That would be my aspiration: a balanced fatherhood, depending upon how the world changes in terms.
Like one thing that I'm like, I have visions of from a very long time of me as a father is that I would pick my kid up by their feet upside down and spank them at the that's one thing that I really want to do for my kids.
Ah,
That I
well,
think sums up my parenthood uh, aspirations.
I think we have a podcast part two of fatherhood when you get there. How about that?
Yeah.
And then I'm the one curiously asking, तो अब
So
बताओ
we'll have
कितने
we'll
आदमी
have
थे सांबा?
we'll have my child sit in for that.
For sure, for sure. Hopefully someday we'll all have our kids and us doing a podcast together. Be interesting.
In the universe हो जाएगा कभी ना कभी बोल
So then
रहा
let's call this the end of the podcast. It has been good. It has been very raw, very open,
है.
and less polished. So
Thank you for opening up of less said, less explored, not not yeah, just being yeah, as you said, raw and just being honest about how it's been with you and stuff. And uh, we will keep checking up on your fatherhood journey through the other podcasts as well. We'll reserve a daddy section now,
yeah, why not? Let's do that.
and
Sounds good.
we ask everybody else to put in their daddy issues in the for us comments. That'll be interesting. But yeah,
Yeah. You change the name of the show.
daddy.
Daddy Ramnani says, Daddy Ramnani says. But
Yeah.
anyway, it is what it is. Thank you again, Ashish, for entertaining
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
this idea and playing along. It was good fun.
Same
And
here.
we
And
shall
a lot
catch
of
up for the
learning.
next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll catch up for the next podcast.
Thank you so much. Take care. All my love,
Cheers.
my stuff, and have fun.
Oh, yes. Cheers.